Krusty Gets Busted is such a complex episode, and there's so much that you could read into this and analyse. I think the more you watch it, certainly once you've got used to the character of Krusty and you've watched episodes that come after this, and you look back at this episode, it's very interesting. I won't give any spoilers, but I will talk a little bit about the character of Krusty himself. This is the 12th episode of The Simpsons that aired, and in this episode, we learn about Krusty the Clown. Now, this is the first episode where Krusty's properly appeared, but in, I think, the previous episode, I think at the beginning of the Crepes of Wrath, when Homer trips over Bart's possessions and falls down the stairs, at the bottom of the stairs there's a Krusty doll. I think that may have been the first appearance of Krusty. Here, of course, we get to know who Krusty is, we get to learn that Bart idolises him. He's a very easy to understand character. You know, children growing up do have that kind of individual on TV that they idolise. I have many of them. And very quickly, we go from learning about this fun-loving character on TV to seeing him commit armed robbery in the Kwik-E-Mart. And that's a very quick turnaround. And I have to say, I mean, it's not a laughing matter. Of course it isn't. But the way Apu reacted to that, and how he said that, you know, he knows the procedure for an armed robbery. He does work in a Kwik-E-Mart. I thought it was very, very funny and very well scripted, very entertaining episode, but also quite serious. Because Bart doesn't quite believe that Krusty could have done this. And he teams up with Lisa and also Maggie to try and work out exactly what has happened. And I think that is brilliant. First of all, I love seeing Bart and Lisa working together. It rarely happens, but it does happen. And I really enjoyed their dynamic in this. I think we got to know both of the characters more detailed here. It's also the first time we kind of see Bart showing great passion for something. Because he's often got this very couldn't care less attitude about everything. That's just who he is. But here we see he is very passionate about the TV show Krusty, but also Krusty as an individual. He hero worships him. And I think that's a really great look into Bart as a character in more detail. With regards to what I won't mention, but with regards to what actually happened, I think it's very clever. And I will say, I don't remember working it out. I have seen this episode quite a few times, so when I was rewatching it today, for the purpose of discussing it, I knew what was coming, and I could identify various elements that were leading up to that. But when I watched it the first time, as far as I remember, I didn't work out what had actually happened. I don't know what that says about me, but I do think that it's very cleverly done. The narrative is very expertly woven, and of course, once you find out the truth, it's yeah, I think it's very clever, and it's I don't know, maybe it's just me, maybe everybody else worked it out. Let me know if you worked it out before Bart and Lisa did. But personally, I found it to be an absolute delight. I really enjoyed the episode. We get a tiny look at Itchy and Scratchy. I loved Bart and Lisa's remarks about how cartoons weren't created for adults. If they were, they'd be on prime time. Yeah, definitely, of course. A little bit of irony there. The Simpsons, of course. Well, I actually don't know. Did The Simpsons air on prime time back in the day? I don't know. I know in the UK it's 6 o'clock every day, and has been for eternity. But did season 1 air on prime time? I don't know. That joke may not have been ironic at the time. I don't know. Let me know if you do actually know what time slot this aired on when it first aired. This aired in 1991, for reference. The 17th of March 1991. I was born 11 months and however many days after that. Really enjoyable, very well animated. There's the fact that Krusty looks like Homer. Now, I don't know if anybody can elaborate on this. I could have Googled it before doing this discussion, but it completely slipped my mind. But is it true that apparently they were going to make Krusty like Homer's like alter ego? Or Homer was going to be the Krusty the Clown secretively? I don't know if that's true or if that's just like kind of a rumour that snowballed a bit. But he does look a lot like Homer, and it's quite funny to think of Homer. I think his face is a bit longer than Homer's, and his mouth's a bit of a different shape. But he generally looks like Homer, and I did hear a rumour that he was meant to be like an alter ego of Homer's. I don't know. obviously introduced to Sideshow Bob as well. Interesting character. Who is not my favourite. Obviously, I can talk about Sideshow Bob from future episodes, which I won't really do in any detail, but I'll just say in general, he's never been my favourite character. Having said that, neither has Krusty. I don't dislike Krusty, but he's never been like one of my top 5 characters. But I do think Krusty Gets Busted is a brilliant episode, very well written, very funny, a lot of jokes, very entertaining, very well animated. I can't fault it. Absolutely one of my favourites from the first season at the very, very least.